Hey guys, I'm at Parliament this morning with some lovely music in the background, nice, calm and peaceful. I'm with PJ. PJ, how long have you been here for?
Almost 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks. Hey, do you just want to go a little bit about? We're talking about most of the police here have been, playing fair, but there's a couple of guys, a little group of them that are hard hitters. What did you call them beforehand?
They seemed when I heard the call for them to advance. After the police line. Stepped aside and the shield unit, like a spear unit, came through and basically just bull rushed the crowd and pretty much assaulted and attacked them with they got slightly out of my view, and I had to run around the side because I was up high taking photos.
Well, I just want to talk to you a little. Just want to hold you a little bit because you talked about there were a few sort of deviations from normal uniforms, such as sharp edges on battens. And you want to elaborate a little bit further about that? I just don't want to put words in your mouth.
We've seen photos with police with some sort of battens or pry bars, very sharp edges, which makes people quite nervous. Also, police with their sort of knuckle reinforced assault gloves,
And you said that some people recognise corrections in uniform.
There was talk that some of these aren't actually police officers, they're the corrections officers.
Right, because I just wanted to point that one actually out because when I was here last covering the one of the protests, which I think might have been during the election, they had a whole bunch of private security guys that were walking down amongst the protesters and looking goonish, and when I actually addressed them, they said that they came from corrections. So I just thought I'd bring it because what you've just said does actually match up with what I previously actually heard as well.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what else? What else? That you've been.
That whole assault on the people, that charge didn't seem to have any tactical advantage.
Yep.
They basically just rammed at people and started. And it's quite clear from the video that after the people were pushed up against the toilets, the Portaloos, we're calling it the Battle of Portaloo now.
They had a Battle of Portaloo.
And the Team 3 guys came from behind the shield.
And that's this group of hardcore guys that we were talking about beforehand.
And heavy hitters and started just assaulting people and dragging them out and trying to arrest them. And one was a 17-year-old young fellow, and he this was his first ever protest, and he was just getting beaten by police and then dragged away and arrested. So, and then they just sort of regrouped after a bit of a sort of a fracas, and they formed a circle, and that's when the pepper spray incident happened. It was clearly caught on film, and they claimed it was acid attack. But of course, anyone that's seen evidence of an acid attack knows that you don't need eyedroppers for a bit of acid.
No, well, that's even been like the whole feces situation to make the claims. But there's considering we've just been talking about the number of CTV cameras around here, you think it's impossible to present something without it being photographed. So you're going to go, well, where's the photos of these events?
There's so many independent media journalists here that you would think that somebody got something of an angle, but apparently somebody threw something. Maybe they were wearing a balaclava and they disappeared and they were never seen before or after.
Right. So, now that was made in the press statement. I believe that the administration team put out on yesterday at 7 p.m. I think, or the day before actually. Yeah.
And also that whole assault, the Battle of Portaloo, they basically turned and reformed and then sort of backed up the road. So there was no blocks moved. There doesn't seem to be any advantage. The whole purpose just was to rush, assault, and potentially demoralise and
that's been
violence on people.
That's been the overall feeling of the honest people I've spoken to. Is the name of the game is to just sort of chip away and create an environment where maybe people aren't really that keen to come down here, and they just make people tired and exhausted. They make mistakes, or
the continual stuff with Trevor, the sprinklers, the music blaring, or the Parliament TV blaring all day long. Which they've actually created a situation where people have had to go and get PA systems to drown it out. So it was reasonably quiet before then, and since then it's been much more music, much louder. Which is probably to the detriment of some of the local people who live here that are still here. But I mean,
that's actually you'll be pleased to know, as I actually walked up and down Lambton Quay today, and I always thought I was going to get a resounding fuck the protesters, but no, actually it was a couple of people ran away from me, but otherwise most people were actually very I think the overall feeling was they sort of felt like great guys, but maybe it's time to pack it up and go home, but they were still very much in your favour.
Yeah, well, they may have been echoing Jacinda's thing that we've made our point, it's time to go home. It's like, well, the point was to get the mandates lifted or and sit down with a discussion point, because they won't talk to us. So nobody's going anywhere until something shifts.
Yeah. Hey, let's bring it back to the police, because one of the things I'm always sort of thinking